Hello Transformers fans, Veelio here, and today we are looking at Studio Series Game Edition SIDESWIPE, a toy from the Transformers War for Cybertron video games, one of my favourite video games of all time, one of my favourite characters in it, and one of my favourite character designs. At the moment it's all looking really good, but does the figure hold up? Let's find out. And before we crack him open, we can see a little bit of him in there already. Let's take a look at this really beautiful box art, capturing the character so well on the front there. And you can already see the similarities there. They are really doing a good job at bringing these characters to life in Game Edition. I think this is going to be another absolute heater. On the side, we've got a nice little addition to that. It's the same thing, obviously, but from a different angle. And then the full photo there, or should I even say character render, because that is technically what it is. And on the back, we get a look at the robot mode and the alt mode. 24 steps for this class. We're looking good. And it comes with a little thing here that says, Save Zeta Prime. I'm not 100% sure what they mean by that. I don't think... I mean, I know obviously it's from the level Save Zeta Prime, but I don't know why that's just plodded in there. But either way, it's true. You can play as SIDESWIPE in this game. A game that does feature Zeta Prime. Maybe it's a little Easter egg that we will be getting a Zeta Prime figure from the Gamer Edition line one day. That'd be pretty cool. But without any further ado, let's crack him open and see the real thing. And here we have SIDESWIPE in all of his glory. First thoughts, I love him. The design is amazing. I love how broad the chest and shoulders look, especially in comparison to the legs. They are capturing the design from these games so well. I think every single Gamer Edition just seems to get better and better with each release. I got this guy literally on release day. I said that in my most recent video, which had a whole haul of things I got. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But I got this guy on release day, on pre-order, and he only just arrived recently. I've been so excited to get my hands on this guy, and initial thoughts is amazing. He comes with, as all Studio Series do, a really nice backdrop, which we can see here. It is absolutely straight out of the games. That is, if I believe, that is the level where they find Zeta Prime on his deathbed, effectively. And I think, if you look really closely, just here, let me just focus that up. Yeah, you can just about make out some of the characters there. I think we got Bumblebee and SIDESWIPE and Optimus Prime right in the back as well on the crease line. It's kind of hard to see. Yeah, we got Bumblebee, SIDESWIPE and Optimus Prime right in the crease line coming to a fallen Zeta Prime, if I am seeing that correctly. But that's some really, really cool little details there. That's one of the first times I've seen characters on those backdrops. And obviously, he also comes with some accessories. We've got a really nice looking blaster that is really nicely sculpted and detailed. I can't wait to see what that looks like on him. And also, we've got this piece here, which I'm not 1,000,000% sure what it does. My first thoughts was that it was going to be some kind of like jetpack maybe, but that doesn't really seem to fit his back from what I can see. So I'll crack open the instructions and see what it says. But straight out of the box, you will get these two items coming separately. So, in relation to the gun, I had a look at it, tried to put it into his hand, instinctively went for that, until I realised that's obviously the magazine, not the actual gun. There's no handle to the gun. I mean, you can plug it into one of the small ports there, but to hold it in his hand, there is no handle for that gun at all. So I had a quick look at the instructions, and I am amazed. The detail they're putting into these Game Edition guns are amazing. Just like the games, the arm can transform into the gun. Not quite transform, you can detach the arm and put the gun on, but that's just blown my mind, you know, for just a deluxe class figure to go through that detail, that's amazing to me. These are exactly the kind of things you did when you played the game, so it just really helps to create that atmosphere of bringing the games to life. If you guys remember, you'd swap your guns, you'd see your arm come out, and you'd see it transform back into the gun. That was what that game's canon said was part of these Transformers' anatomy. Their arms were the guns, they could become the guns. So we'll do it here. It is a little bit tight, so you've got to really give it a pull, and it's obviously very unnatural to pull hardly on the joints of the Transformers, so it feels like it could come off at any moment. But if you get it just below where the hinge of the elbow is, it pops off there. You'll see the hole, you'll see the peg, and the gun just goes directly into there, as you would imagine. And just like that, you have got a gun arm that is completely posable. That looks amazing. Seriously amazing. So I've attached the extra bit of plastic that you saw earlier. It does go on the back, but as you can see, it just absolutely bulks it out even more than it already is. I know that is the accurate look to have like the spoiler coming up there, and you can actually, which is quite cool, adjust it as you please. But I just think it makes it look worse because it's so protruded. I mean, they obviously couldn't find a way to get it on the figure to begin with, so they've made it parts forming as opposed to actually being part of the figure, which is not everyone's cup of tea anyway. But it just looks so much worse in my opinion. Like, that really just does not go, unless I put it on the wrong way around. But no, I haven't, according to the instructions. This is what the instructions have told me to put it as. It just does not look good to me. It gives you an option to put the gun in there, by the way, that with that little side port I was seeing earlier, so it kind of makes it into like a little bit of something you can work with there. But, and obviously it's going to be part of the transformation, you can already see where that's going, but I'm really not feeling that overall. I mean, there's no angle in which that looks good in, and it comes off very easy, as you can see. I much prefer that being where it was. Yes, the backpack's not great, but front on, it looks a lot better than having a big bit of plastic popping out on top. So, whilst the parts forming is a little bit disappointing and ultimately doesn't actually add anything to the figure at all, it will have to be put back on for transformation, but for now, I'm going to leave it like this, which I think looks a lot better. And speaking about how the figure looks, let's go and take a bit more detail in that. The head sculpt is beautiful. I mean, I know I say it almost every time, but they put so much effort and detail into these head sculpts here. The eyes are so alive, and the pose is obviously a bit more of a neutral pose, but it looks so great. I love how the helmet kind of comes over the cheeks just like it would in the game. It's not like actually attached to his face, you can see it underneath. It always poses a question, do these Transformers actually take off these helmets ever? I know in some comics they've been depicted as, you know, you got the famous one, Megatron in All Hail Megatron, but I don't really know where I stand on it. All I know is that it looks nice, and I like the way it looks. The little horns coming up at the top as well are really, really nice. I've already mentioned it, but the broad shoulders, I think looks so good, especially having the wheels there. I just love that design personally, and the wheels have got this really nice red decal on them that obviously goes really well with his character. The chest is great. I love the grey bits in the middle, and the Autobot logo right slap bang in the middle is so front and centre. I really love it, and it's a very unique chest piece shape as well. Obviously that is something that is really, really, really Cybertron Games-esque, but it really suits him and it looks great. There is a lot less detail on the legs. They're a little bit more panelly, especially here on the side. Doesn't bother me too much. There is some really nice added detail on the inside. I mean, it is not that gappy, like it is enclosed the whole way round. There's some nice decal on the very top of the shins as well. You've got a few different colours going on in there. It's not the most amazing leg pieces in the world, but for a deluxe class figure, not too fussed. The feet are the only real letdown. They are just absolute slabs, and I mean, we'll get into it, but pretty immovable slabs as well. Obviously, these are not legitimate feet for SIDESWIPE and his character. It's not the end of the world, it's just a little nitpick. I think the upper half of the figure from here is absolutely amazing. The bottom half does let it down a little bit, but it's nothing that's going to put me off getting this figure, especially for its cheaper price point. I really don't mind at all. I've mentioned the back already. It is a little bit of a backpack. You can't really avoid them, especially with deluxes. Without the extra added piece, I don't mind it at all. It's not that bad, and it's also good looking as well. It's got the nice decal. You can tell it's obviously going to be the front of the car. You get some more added wheels in there as well. And to be honest with you, if you look at a lot of the character designs in War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, they do have very bulky backs anyway. They have that, like, I'm thinking especially Bumblebee, that like curved bulky back. They have lots of rounded features. This figure really kind of imagines that, and even though it is a backpack, I like the design of it, so I'm not too fussed with it at all. The arms on the back look very, very nice. They've got added detail on the back, so you haven't really got to worry about things like holes popping up and stuff. It is pretty poseable from all sides. And obviously, as I said earlier, the gun is really, really detailed, so whichever way you have the gun pointing, it looks really, really nice. So overall, a little bit to be desired for the legs and the feet, but I'm a big fan of the design of this character. And so, on that point, let's get into the articulation of this figure. And going back to the headpiece, we saw a little bit of it earlier, but it can rotate the whole entire way round, which is very good. It can look up the tiniest bit, and it can look down pretty well, to be fair. If he's standing menacingly over an opponent, that's quite a good look. The arms are well articulated. The shoulder can go the whole way round. It does not bump into the backpack at all. It can go out very far as well. There is a swivel on the bicep, and obviously a crunch at the elbow as well. The gun, I think, works so well with it. The fact that it plugs in underneath the joint means it can do all of these different rotations and movements as well. On the other side, it's the exact same, except obviously you've got an arm this time, and that can go up and down as said. Once again, outwards on the side, and there is the same swivel. The hands can go in a little bit. That is obviously for the transformation, but it kind of works as something that you could potentially do. There is nothing else there. There's no other swivel or anything like that. It is just that in. So I prefer the gun in a way to that. I think it looks a bit cooler, but absolutely fine there. The legs are well articulated to begin with. It has a very nice spread going all the way out there. It can kick back that far, blocked by the backpack, and forward very, very far, pretty much the whole way. There is obviously a swivel at the thigh and a bend at the knee as well. But then you get into the feet, and feet articulation is not a necessity in any Transformers figure, but it's fair to say that we have become quite spoiled recently because there's so much great ankle pivoting going on at the moment. And as I kind of alluded to earlier, there's nothing here. You've got the the absolute flattenness of it. I don't know how that's ever going to help with a pose. Obviously, that is just for the transformation, but that is the only movement in the whole foot, moving it into a way that you are never, ever, ever going to be able to pose it in. So other than the standing that you've got right there, there's no other posable thing, unless perhaps you've got him on the ground and you want it like that. But other than that, I mean, he's doing the Michael Jackson, you could argue. But other than that, there is no articulation at all in the feet, which is a real shame. There is also a slight twist at the waist. It is blocked by the backpack, but if you move the legs a little bit forward, you can maneuver that to get a little bit more of a turn and eventually get it the whole way round. But it does require a bit of maneuvering for the legs and the back. There is no crunch or anything like that, but you can obviously utilize the legs to bend him forward and bend him back as far as the backpack will allow it. So other than the feet, he's pretty well articulated. I don't mind it at all. Overall, I'm very impressed with this robot mode. For the design, the look, the feel, which is pretty sturdy. The limbs are, I wouldn't use the word flimsy, but they are loose. They are able to be moved as you at your own pleasure. But they still have a good structural feeling to them. So I'm not opposed to it at all. The robot mode is a big win for me. There is obviously some problems with the feet especially. But as an overall, like I said before, for the price point and the deluxe class, I'm very, very happy with this. They've really captured the feel of the character. I'm a big, big fan of the robot mode. But now let's transform SIDESWIPE and see what he looks like in his vehicle mode. And after quite a lot of finicking around, we have got SIDESWIPE in his car mode. A car mode that I really, really like the look of, but I did not enjoy the transformation of. It is absolutely spaghetti engineering to its finest. If you want to see a video on the transformation, let me know, and I'll start doing transformation videos to go alongside my reviews. But for now, I thought we'd just skip straight to the review. I mean, the design is amazing. I really like the design. The chest piece at the back is disguised quite well by the bit here that we did add on earlier. For the life of me, this bit here will not tab in. I cannot get it to tab in as well as that one. So from this side, it looks a lot better, obviously. The back is pretty clean, you know. Sorry, the underneath is pretty clean. I mean, obviously you know it's feet because you've seen the figure. But if you didn't, it's honestly pretty clean. And the silhouette's all still there. Rollability is extremely high. It's got some superb rolling. Once again, the decals on the wheels are really nice. I love these little decals here as well. The windows are really sleek. It's got a really, really good Cybertronian car mode feel to it. You know, it's not often you get the Cybertronian modes really feel Cybertronian, but even stuff like the silhouette and the shape here, it really, really does feel quite Cybertronian to me. And there's even a little port here that you can place the gun on top if you so wish, like so. And you can have the gun at the top there, which is very similar, if you will, to what happened in the actual games. So they really, once again, have captured the feel amazingly. I'm a big fan of this design. I'm not a fan of the transformation, however, so I'll have to dock points for that, or should I say C-Spray will dock points for that when it comes round to it. But for the design, the paint, the coating, the feel, and even this bit here, which I hated in the robot mode, I really like in the alt mode. As a Cybertronian sports car, I really, really like it. I probably wouldn't have the gun on top there. I think it takes quite a lot away from it. I love that sleek look on top. But it's always good to have weapon storage. It's always appreciated to have weapon storage. But As far as the robot modes go, I love it. And as far as car modes go, I love it. So for Game Edition Sideswipe, if you are thinking about getting him, I would say yes, but prepare yourself for a little bit of an excruciating transformation. But I mean, like I say, that was the first time I'd ever done it. I have to do it a fair few times. This bit, once again, coming untabbed, by the way. I have to do it a fair few times, and I'm sure I'll get the hang of it. But it feels well, it's solid, it holds up well. If it was a plane, it would whoosh well, but it's not, it's a car, and it rolls well. What more would you really want from a car? It looks good, and it rolls well. Once I get used to the transformation, which I'm sure I will, I think I will like it a lot more. I'm not sure what I'll display it in, because I really do like the design of it. I probably will display it in the robot mode, just mainly for that chest and broad shoulderness. That's the part I love most about it. But what do you think of this Cybertronian car mode? Let me know in the comments below what you think about it. The transformation back to robot mode I found to actually be a lot easier. So with that in mind, I'm sure that the finicky transformation that I just mentioned will become easier and easier with time. But Sideswipe in all his glory is amazing. And let's just compare him to Game Edition Bumblebee, who is a bit of a smaller figure. In fact, I'll put him on this side just for the sake of his sword being in his left hand. Do you guys often put your accessories for your figures in the left or right hand? Let me know. Bumblebee, as we know, is a small figure, and he is a little bit underneath Sideswipe in height, but to be honest with you, maybe not as underneath as I would expect. Based on that, I maybe would expect Sideswipe to be a little bit bigger. But honestly, it's not the end of the world. They do look really nice together, don't they, in the yellow and the red. And I can think of another yellow Autobot who might be associated to Sideswipe, who I might like a Game Edition concept art of one day if they really wanted to rinse it out. That in yellow as Sunstreaker, I would buy in a heartbeat. But overall, just moving Bumblebee out the way there, I'm a big fan of Sideswipe, as I mentioned. This bit here, not so much, but if we remove it, which we can do whenever we please, that front profile I really like. And so all that leaves is our favourite mascot of the channel, Seaspray. There he is, to give his review on Sideswipe. So, Seaspray, what do you think of Sideswipe? Taking a good look. 3.5 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5 from Seaspray there for Sideswipe, and I can get behind it. It's not the most amazing figure in terms of its, its transformation, and the legs and feet really let it down, but it's got so much goodness going for it. Stuff like the gun arm, stuff like the face sculpt, the chest, the shoulders. These are all parts that really add to it. With a few little things, it could so easily be a 4 out of 5, or maybe even a 4.5 out of 5, but unfortunately, it's just falling behind that. But that being said, that does not take away anything for me in terms of my enjoyment of the character and of the figure. It's been so long since we've had a really cool mainline Sideswipe figure, especially one that's in the Cybertronian form at retail deluxe price. So with all that in mind, I would buy this guy again and again and again if I needed to. He may not be the most perfect figure, but not every single figure is going to be the most perfect figure. That's what makes perfect figures so amazing. And Sideswipe, you will do for me. If you're thinking about getting this guy and you're not quite sure, you're on the fence, I would say if you can get it at the right price point, which is for me pretty cheap in my local store, go for it. It's a really cool looking figure, really well held, looks great, and it's going to go brilliantly with my Game Edition set. So that about wraps up my review of Studio Series Game Edition Sideswipe. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for checking it out. What do you think of Game Edition Sideswipe? Let me know in the comments below, please. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do consider liking and subscribing. It would really help my channel to grow, and I would really appreciate it. And if you fancy seeing a variety of games being played on this channel, you can head over to the Veelio Plays channel, which is my gaming channel. This channel will always be Transformers content, but if you want to see some really cool variety stuff, playing some games, having a laugh, Veelio Plays, link in the description. I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to those videos too. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you have enjoyed, and I can't wait to keep on making more Transformers content. So stay tuned for another video very soon. Goodbye.